Hello everyone, good afternoon. I am Gary Roberts, as he said. Let me just load up my presentation here. Oh, you see my screen, right?
Yes, Gary, you can go ahead and present your screen right now. Yes, we're seeing a screen.
Okay, so let me give you a little bit about how I started going into programming. So in high school, I wanted to become an architect. And I changed my mind when I went into a class session and I was basically introduced to programming. So my teacher, Miss Banton, gave me this basic program to say hello world. And since that, I've been captivated by programming, and I've been saying if I can do this and allow the computer to say hello world, what else could I do? Or I'm saying it could be countless possibilities with programming. So basically, I was one of the I was one of the top programmers in terms of the CAPE IA in high school. Yeah, because I created this code for my CAPE IA. The IA is basically an assessment for CAPE, and I created an assessment that had almost 3,000 lines of code, and this 3,000 lines of code was probably one of the most impressive to have ever been done in the Caribbean for the CAPE IA. And this was the first project that basically got me enthused about programming and brought me to where I am now. So let me go to my presentation. I don't know. All right. Okay. Yeah, so the first thing I want to talk about is mindset. You guys are seeing the screen, right?
Yes, Gary, we're seeing a screen, yes.
So I saw this quote that has been on my mind. The quote says, "A graveyard is the richest place on earth. Unspoken ideas, plans never put in motion, and dreams never lived." Basically, wasted potential. If you want to reach at the highest level, you basically have to push forward. You can't sit and say, okay, I'm going to be the next Bill Gates, I'm going to be the next Steve Jobs, without putting action to it. So this quote has been something that I've been on my mind, and I want you guys to just think about it. This is what I'm using to open up my presentation, because I want to speak about applying certain skills or certain concepts to basically get yourself in tuned and ready to break out of your shell and basically get the full potential, go to your full potential. Okay, so let me tell you something about as it relates to mindset. Let me show you the type of mindset I have. When I was at NCU, there was a competition called the Dataset Go competition that we were supposed to create an application in 7 days. My laptop stopped working completely on the first day, and the motherboard basically got burnt up. Everybody was working on their project for the entire 7 days. I didn't work on anything. And the 7th day, when I got a laptop, that's the day of the presentation, by the way. That's the day that I started coding the application. And remember, everyone was working on this for 7 days, and I only did it in a couple hours. And I didn't give up, even though I didn't have any laptop, and I started so late. I had a mindset to say I'm going to get placed in the top 3 for this competition, and I coded an entire PHP a PHP application that was they basically gave us 8,000 records. 8,000 records in a file, and we're supposed to get it transported to a database and create an application with it. And I basically came second in the competition, even though I coded it in a couple of hours. So this is the type of mindset that I would like you guys to have, that never give up. Basically, don't give up no matter what the situation is. So as you can see here, I have won numerous awards. And the thing about me, I am always leveling up. So no matter where I am at, I am always trying to reach a higher level. Always trying to level up. So when I win one award, I'm saying, okay, what should I do? What should I go aim for the next semester? I'm always trying to build up my collection of awards, always trying to do more and trying to inspire people with all that I am doing in terms of programming and technology. Okay, let's talk about the working world. As you can see in this meme, it says the relationship between your degree and your field of work. As you can see here, this is a scuba diver, and he's in a desert, which basically does not relate to what he does. This is basically the reality that happens to some persons that comes into this field. The thing is that some persons get the wrong idea about coming into this field. They say, okay, they believe that the degree will teach you everything, but the degree is just a stepping stone, and you basically have to teach yourself in your own time as well and keep up to pace with everything that's going on in the tech world. So your degree is basically just a foundation, and you cannot believe that, okay, I have this degree now, so I'm like one of the best, I'm supposed to get a job instantly. They're looking for persons that actually stand out and persons that will be a good fit for their company. So that is something to consider as well. Consider applying your skills and having projects outside of school and basically doing more than what your degree offers, and using the basic from the degree to basically build yourself. Okay, here are some tips for choosing technology industry careers. You should be prepared for obsolescence, meaning that's relating to the same meme that I just said. Majority of what you learn will be stuff that probably will be obsolete by the time you get in the working world. So you should ensure that you are well equipped and keep on and you're always up to pace with what is going on, so you can basically choose a career that you know that you will be a good fit in the industry. Finding a niche. So basically, for number 2 here, you would basically look at what you are good at. So are you a graphics person? Are you a functionality person like I am? I'm a functionality person, so I do the logic of systems. So you basically find a niche, and you stick with that throughout the years at NCU or moving forward. And the technology industry isn't for everyone, and this is the reality. Not everyone is fit for this field, because some persons basically come into this field with the wrong idea. Oh, I'm going to make a lot of money, so I should just jump into this field, but they just cannot manage. They simply cannot manage them, or they don't they are fit for something else, but they are coming after this field for the wrong purposes. And realize, number 4, realize computer programming is a lucrative career prospect. So you can look at computer programming as one of the best areas in terms of earning. If you can do programming, that is, it is a lucrative career prospect that you can look into. And so it is that's one of the major fields that persons consider once they think about going into the technology industry. And it is good to check out trends using the internet, so you basically keep up to date. As I said earlier, you don't spend all your time programming. Well, even if you're a good programmer, it is good to have other skills. So you basically can write tech articles, you can do you can do a lot of stuff, even though you're a programmer. So you basically you're not just reminded as a programmer and nothing else. You can extend your skills and choose technologies relating to your training. So if you studied programming, go into programming. If you did networking, try to get into networking, unless the economy is at a state that you might have to go into a field temporarily that you are not trained for, and you have to adapt. Okay, so having a resume with an impact. So let me show you what my resume looks like currently. So I have my technical proficiency here. So I basically list out all the skills that I basically can do, or basically anything that I can do in programming, and the types of frameworks that I know, and the work experience. So I was a youth training program mentor. I was an application development engineer intern. I was a freelance Laravel developer. I was a software engineer at one company, and I'm now a software engineer at Cenedex. So you basically need to structure your resume in a way that will impress companies. So you basically lay out everything that you have achieved. And I have all my awards here, all the awards that I got at NCU, scholarship, competitions. I have achievement from Manchester High School, different roles that I played. And I have some of my projects here, so you can list your projects. And I have my GitHub and my GitHub repository here, where you can basically the employers can basically go to and get an idea of what I have been working on. And I have a publication here as well, because I've written articles, like tech articles that persons can read. So as I said, you just don't be a programmer. You can basically do other stuff and become even an author for tech articles and stuff like that. And I have my reference, who is a senior software engineer at WordPress, which looks good on the resume as well, because it shows that I know people in the field and I network with persons. Okay. All right, so moving on. Okay, so the trending tech fields. So you can go into any of these fields. These are the top fields right now in the tech field. These are some of the top fields right now. You have artificial intelligence, where you basically write algorithms to mimic what humans can do. You have data science, where you apply like mathematical calculations to make predictions and stuff like that, and analysis. You have the Internet of Things, which is basically allowing a variety of devices to be connected to the internet or carry out their operations using the internet, like smart devices. You have the blockchain if you're interested in electronic currencies like cryptocurrency and stuff like that. You have the robotic process automation, where you're dealing with robotics to allow robots to basically carry out activities to make life easier. You have the virtual and augmented reality. We basically create virtual worlds that persons can basically carry out tasks in VR. You have edge computing. Edge computing basically deals with bringing data closer to where the data is needed. So you don't have stuff like latency issues. Like basically, edge computing works with cloud computing to ensure that your data is accessed fast enough. All this data that is stored in the cloud. And you have intelligent apps. That would basically be like your AI, your machine learning, all of those applications that can basically mimic human intelligence. All right, then, so choosing a framework. All right, so a framework is basically, so when you're working in like the tech field, you have different frameworks. For example, PHP, you had just the traditional PHP. A framework is basically an extension of PHP, for example, which has Laravel, which is a newer version of PHP. The framework is basically an extension. So we use a lot of frameworks in the tech field. So for example, if you want to build a mobile app, you use a mobile app framework. If you want to build a web app, you use a web framework. But you have to be careful with choosing your framework. So you have to consider the usage context, the use of your framework. You have to consider the license. These are to be considered when choosing a framework. You have to consider the license, if there are any restriction in distributing your product. You have to consider the software pattern, how this software is basically built, so that you can know how if your team will basically be able to use this to carry out the task. The hosting requirements, such as the expense, how hard it will be to deploy, the ease of installation, the learning curve for this framework, especially if your team has a massive project, will it be a major learning curve? The core library, which is basically talking about the level of control which you have over this framework. Are you able to change the main functionalities which is within the framework? And basically, are you able to basically allow it to do what you want and break the rules? And the DB abstraction, how does it relate to a database? How does it relate? Is it a NoSQL or no SQL or a SQL database? And does it have unit testing? Unit testing is basically testing each individual section of your application to see how everything works individually before merging them. The scalability of your framework. So you have to consider how is this framework able to scale when you expand your products? You build something like WhatsApp, for example. How will you basically scale your application when it expands and gets to more to a larger population of persons using it? And documentation. When selecting a framework, you have to consider the documentation. If it does not have a good documentation, then you might have a lot of trouble learning how to use the framework, because the documentation basically tells you what can be done and how everything that you want to be done, how it can be done. And the documentation is done by persons who basically built it, or persons at the company that did this framework. And you have the bug fixes and updates. Bug fixes and updates. Is the framework that you're using, is it up to date, or do they have a team maintaining it? So that is all of those are stuff to consider when using a framework, because a lot of persons ask, what framework am I to use and which framework is better? So this is just some of the points that I came up with. Yeah. All right. So let me show you some of the projects that I've been working on, or that I've done at NCO. So this was one of the projects that I did when I was a freshman. When I was a freshman at NCO, I created this basic site called VidTunnel, which basically allows you to create a channel like YouTube. It's basically mimicking what YouTube does. And this was done when I was a freshman. So in my first year, I did this project. So you see that you don't have to be trapped in a box. This is a personal project, by the way. You don't have to be trapped in a box with only doing the schoolwork. You can basically start testing how your mind can basically create stuff out of the box other than all of these schoolwork stuff. So this basically allows you to upload videos. You could like the video, you could create a channel. Basically what YouTube does. And remember, this was in my freshman year, so I just started NCO and I created this. I created a virtual DJ web app. So I wrote an algorithm that basically allows you to click that little folder over here that says upload. It allows you to click that folder and you can load music into the application. When the music is loaded, it generates like a list with all of the songs that you uploaded. So you can upload like multiple, like an entire folder into this virtual DJ system. When it comes into the system is able to, the web app is able to collect all of these songs and basically be like an auto DJ. So basically what it does, it's like a human DJ inside of the computer. So that's why I call it auto DJ. So it loads all of these songs in and using an array, and basically it can play it can basically mix the songs just like how a DJ would basically cross fade and mix the songs on an actual turntable. So when you load a song, it starts on deck 1, then it moves the other song to the next song coming up is queued, and well, when we say queue, we mean it basically starts playing in the background until it fades over. So it's basically playing music and fading from left to right, mixing the different music, just like how a DJ would do it. Let me show you. Yeah, the network bots. This was a project that I created for Mr. Tuma's ethics class, and I'm about to show you this project. I'm going to show you a video of this project. But this was a 3D robot game that I created that basically showed ethics, or basically show ethics in a fun way. So we were supposed to create a game for the final project, and I created a 3D game with ethics, which I'm about to show you. And yeah, I'll show you a demonstration of the applications after I'm finished here. So this was a medical system that that's supposed to be rolled out, that I was working on with a team before I had to leave this and join Cenedex. So the Norwich medical system is basically a medical system created, which I was creating with one of my mentors, to allow persons in Jamaica to see the doctor online and create appointments and get their prescription. So basically, you're able to get your prescription and all of that. So, and the doctors can see medical history, so you don't have to be going through dockets and stuff like that, like at the hospital. It was for a specific medical center that we designed this. And I'll show you a demonstration of this project as well. Let me show you. So this was the virtual DJ application. Yeah, so basically what it does, I was just using the basic JavaScript and CSS to basically animate that record that you see there. So once the song is playing, I just use like an event listener and say, okay, a song is playing, so start spinning the record. And let me show you the ethics game, the 3D game now. Yeah, so basically what this game basically shows it's basically about being ethical and unethical. So you can choose your path in the beginning. If you go to the red path, you go to the unethical, and you are the bad robot, and you're being chased by 2 robots that are after you, that are like the police inside the system. And if you go to the green part, the green portal, basically you are the police and you are the ethical one going after the negative robot. So this was a project that I did for computer ethics to demonstrate ethics. And the idea behind this game was that, as you can see, you're seeing Gmail. So the idea is that the world has gone so advanced that employees at Google actually go inside the system as avatars. And these avatars are basically robots. So what happens is that if you're a bad employee and you take the unethical part, the two security robots basically run you down as an employee at Google. So that's why you see Gmail there. So you're inside the Gmail network itself, and you're the negative robot, and you're being run down by two of the security like the security persons at Google. As you can see envelopes flying across from across the screen. Those are actually showing that it's inside the Gmail network itself. As you can see, yeah, you can see the envelopes flying all around, showing that these are messages being sent through Gmail, and you are the bad robot inside the system trying to hack. And so this was another project that I did from Mr. Mitchell's class. So what this mobile app basically did, this was a mobile app that I created called CodeFix. CodeFix was an app in which CIS students would basically be able to get code challenges, and these code challenges would come to the application from a live server or a live database. And when it comes to your phone, you're basically able to solve the challenges and send your response to the server, which checks if it is correct. And it basically sends credit to your phone if you have the right answer. So you get like snippets of code, and you have to solve the problem or find out why it is not running. And once it is actually working, once you submitted it and the server knows that you submitted with the right response that is working, credit is sent. Credit is the digits for the credit is in the database, so it comes to your phone, and you can just press send, and it basically can put it to your phone, add it to your account and top up your phone. So you get a challenge, you can edit your account, you have prizes, you can go into help. So you see you can edit your account there. I'm sure what happens when you go into a challenge. So you see you have a challenge there on the list, challenge 1. You can see that something is missing there, so you would have an error. You correct it and you press submit code. And it says congrats, and you just got $100 Digicel credit. You just won yourself $100 Digicel credit. This is a final project that I did at NCU. So now you see it's saying Digicel and 100. When you tap the button, it basically allows you to get the value from the database, from the live database. So the credit can be added to your phone. And what I did for the Cape IA that I was mentioning, that was like that person's belief is one of the best in the Caribbean. It was a really lengthy program. When I created a video of it, I'm realizing that it takes I think almost 2 minutes just to see how much code was written. All of this was written when I was in high school, in upper 6. I basically use C to basically write out the entire functionality for a school system. So you could basically. Alright, sorry about that. So my internet apparently went down. Oh boy. So I had to switch over to data plan. Are you guys hearing me?
Yes, I'm hearing you, Gary. I'm not sure if anybody else is hearing you.
I'm hearing you.
All right, we're hearing man. Yeah, man. So I was saying, learn to use GitHub, and basically, it is good to be innovative. So it's basically good to look at what look at the possibilities and look at the market. What can you basically do that would basically make a difference in the market? That's something to consider. And it's good to do projects outside of school, as I was saying earlier. So don't just, because even that medical system that I did, that was something that I was doing while I was going to NCU. So now when I was looking for a job, I basically had that medical system to show them that I had this project. Even though I don't have these years of experience, I could show them something that I did, something that would basically be going into the market. So it's good to have a portfolio. And when you have a portfolio, it is good to have a portfolio with projects that have business logic. So it's good to have, even though you have some projects that might be fun to you, it is good to have even one big project that basically shows um, applications that, of real world stuff that would basically be used in like an enterprise. So it's good to have like some business logic stuff being done on majority of your projects to impress a company. Because I had projects like projects with stuff like accounting in it. So it basically shows that I could do business logic and stuff like that. So it's good to join LinkedIn. LinkedIn was where Cenedex Solutions found me. I was just there one day on LinkedIn and I got a message from the CEO saying, "Hey, we're looking for a programmer who knows Laravel." And that's how they got in contact with me. I didn't apply or anything. I was just there on LinkedIn, and they just found me and say it seems like I have the skills they would want. So LinkedIn is a very good platform to join, and it is good to network as well on LinkedIn. So when you join LinkedIn, LinkedIn has a variety of persons in different fields, and you can basically look for the persons in the tech field or persons related to what you study and network with these persons. And majority of them are actually interested in learning about persons and interacting with them and basically mentoring you. So it's good to network. So learn. Another thing I consider in terms of the software field that you should do is learn proper documenting. For example, when I was working on the cash transfer system, the cash transfer app for Cenedex, I did a lot of documenting in the earlier stages to know where we were heading, to basically know where we are heading in terms of the application. And when you document, it basically helps your team to know that, okay, this is what we plan to do. These are the frameworks you're going to use, and basically give this information to the entire team that will basically know what we're about, and you can document everything in a way that will allow persons to, even if you leave the project, other persons can pick up this project and know what you are doing because it is well documented. So it's good to learn documenting as well. Even if you're not great at documenting, just at least know how to do the basics and allow persons to understand what you are doing on a project. And another thing I consider to be good as well is to do tech articles about topics you know. For example, like for me, I did I think I have 2 articles that I did. I do articles on like Laravel because I know Laravel. I did 2 Laravel articles. So when I was basically being coming on board with Cenedex, they were interested in that because they were saying, oh, this guy has articles. He doesn't just write code. He's basically writing articles that can basically help other persons to learn. So it's not just about developing my skills. I basically started writing articles that could help someone to learn something that I know. So this is something that can help to boost your resume as well, and help you to develop your skills and develop and basically grow. Because when you write, persons who write are basically, majority of the times, they are some of the top tech persons in the world, not just the ones who write code. Because writing is very powerful when you think about it, and it can reach a lot of persons. Because your article can basically change the life of others, and they can use it to basically learn. So, and the next thing on the list is keep up with the news. So another thing that you need to do to develop your skills is basically keeping up with what is going on. So if you realize that, say for example, you realize that there can be an opportunity for you to build an app when in the COVID time. For example, right now, that would basically help persons to do some activity easier or to do something safer, like some daily activity, or make life easier in terms of COVID. It is good to always follow up the news and see what is required. And this is linked to being innovative. So you basically follow up the news and see what is needed in the market, and then bring it to the economy. Okay. So continuing, learning how to do unit testing is a very good thing as well. For example, at Cenedex, when I'm building the cash transfer app, I'm building out these different functionalities. I basically have to test the individual sections of the application. So we have the production section, which is basically what we test on the server, and we have our local test, which we should basically test each unit before we push it to the server. So it is good to do unit testing to see how each individual section work. So you should get in the frame of mind to test, always be testing, because companies like persons that that test, that they don't just roll out stuff and basically push it out to clients. They test what they're doing. It is good to learn basic OOP, because one thing I realize now is that everything is going with OOP, whether you're doing front end or back end, where the functionality is, you're using OOP. First, regularly, they didn't used to use much OOP. But now, because front end is using so much functions and so much components now, they're breaking everything down in components so you can reuse code. That's how the whole OOP comes into operation now. That is object-oriented programming, where everything is basically treated as an object, and all the code is basically reusable. So it's good to learn OOP, no matter if you're doing front end or back end. So the next thing is learning how to design and integrate API. This is for persons who are going into functionality. So if you are building an application, say for example, you're building an app, and this app has a website to it, it is good to learn how to build API. The API is application programming interface. What the API basically does, it allows you to have connection with both your website and your app, and using the API as a bridge with the database, so you can basically get the same functionalities to the website and the app using the API. The API basically returns data, so you can return it in the way the website wants, and it can return it in the way the mobile app wants. So one functionality is written and you don't rewrite code. So it basically allows you to reuse code for both your web and your mobile. So it's good to learn how to do that, so that your work is easier if you're a functionality person like I am. So it is good to learn about servers as well. So it's when we're doing these projects, so say for example at Cenedex, we're building this money transfer app for the US now. We have to deploy to a server, and you have to basically know like basic commands to get your project in. So it is good to know about terminals, how to use terminals, and how to deploy projects. Because more than likely, in your career, you're going to use terminals at some point. So learn how to deploy your projects and learn about servers, the basic about deploying projects. and it is good to develop communication skills for the working world. This is something to develop your growth as well. When you're working with like a remote company, for example, like Cenedex, we have to have good communication, because I am working on the functionality and somebody's working on the front end where they're doing like the graphics and the UI stuff that the person basically interacts with. I have to relate well with the person, because it's not like in an office setting where I sit and I can just touch the person beside me and say, hey, we're supposed to do this, or this is the reason you're not getting that connection. You have to communicate well to ensure that everybody on the team is basically working together in a way that will get everything connected when it comes together, because we're different places over the world. Some of us at Cenedex, so I have to communicate well to ensure that when I do something, the other person picking up the code basically knows how to adapt to that code and do it and basically carry out the functionality. So I need to communicate well. You need to learn how to use up diagrams as well if you want to be a software engineer, for example, or a database person. Majority of the fields use diagrams. It's good to learn how to use diagrams, because when you're designing a system, majority of the times companies use diagrams to basically lay out the basic architecture of the system they're building, so you can have an idea of what is going on and basically see where you're heading. And so it is good to use diagrams and learn how to use them, so you can basically lay out your entire project in a graphical representation, because some persons understand graphically more than just writing all of this information to give them. And learn about software architecture. If you want to be a good software engineer or a good developer, it is good to know about how to design your architecture in a way that will make the work easier. So as I was saying earlier, with the whole website and the app, the website and the mobile app using the same functionality, this is what I was talking about, the architecture. So you basically write your code in a way that all your business logic can be used, can be reused, and the only thing you consider is formatting in based on the type of device using it. So whether it's a website or a mobile app, the same functionality is done, and the application or the architecture just allows it to return it in a way that that device basically understands, whether it's a web browser or a mobile app. So I just told you about developing your own skills, but another thing you should consider is impacting the life of others. So I was a tech mentor for a program, I think it was about in 2018. I think it was about 2018 or 2019 summer. I was a tech mentor to some students coming out of high school that want to go into the tech field. And I was their mentor for about 4 weeks, teaching them about coding and basically allowing them to understand what the field is about since they're interested. So I was their mentor for this time, and they built projects after getting mentor, and they did a pitch competition where they pitched their projects, and the judges were interested in knowing who was the person that actually taught these students, because they were really impressed with the quality of work that these students did. So I was really glad that I made an impact there, and these students really learned a lot. And I'm talking about students just coming out of high school, and they're doing stuff that I did because I was teaching them in a way that allowed them to understand so easy. They basically did stuff that I did like in the 3rd year of NCU in just a matter of weeks under my guidance. And this was and the picture on the right over here is a career expo at Manchester High School that Mr. Mitchell and I went to. So we basically went there and we were presenting. We were talking about the tech field and what we did, and we were addressing the entire campus, and we brought Bob, or a robot there, to show persons how technology is becoming interactive and stuff like that. And it was really a good presentation that was done. So basically, just showing how we can change the world and impacting other persons. Mhm. All right. So if you guys have any questions, this would be the time now.
Okay, guys, all right. So now you guys can come with the questions now, cause I know you guys must be wondering how do we do like have so little time to do so much, right? So you guys can go ahead and ask a question and get your feedback, right? You can type it in the chat. I must say that I'm impressed, cause I don't know how Gary really get all the time to really do so much things, right? So what I really understand right now is that we should prioritize our time and try to focus on the things that matters, right? And so Brian right now is asking, yeah, how do you manage your time, Gary?
I always get that question. How
Yeah,
do I
cause
manage
we're
my time?
you
Okay,
like
so
this, go ahead.
basically, persons always want to know what my routine is like, my daily routine. So what I do, the first thing when I do, when I get up, I do like some chores around the house. So and after that, I basically sit for a while. So every morning I just sit outside for a while because before I start coding, I manage my time by what I basically do is I create objectives to be done for each day. So I decided, okay, for today I'm going to learn this. I'm going to get this done. So I basically set out timing for what I'm going to do throughout the entire day, and I have to have time to sleep as well. So I basically
You sleep.
yes. So to manage the time management thing is just basically setting goals and setting time frames for what you want to achieve throughout the day, and ensure that you get sleep as well.
All right, so now this question from Ocean Smith is asking, do you prefer working relational DB or non-relational DB?
Relational or
Yeah, or non.
non-relational? Hmm. Well, I'm used to relational DB, so I kind of stick to the. It's better to stick to the devil, as they say. But I've done a project with non-relational DB, and it was pretty easy. I think most developers are switching to the non-relational DB now because you don't have the hassle of checking all of these if these relationship will connect and the database constraints and stuff like that. So I think it depends on you. It depends on what you want to use, but persons are still using relational. 'Cause at Cenedex we use relational still. It depends on what or it depends on the company that you're working in, because it depends on what they want to use.
All right,
But
so
I don't see any problem if you know relational or non-relational and it works for you. It's just what works for you.
okay, so Oren is asking, would you mind providing some assistance to guide in creating an API, like some assistance? I don't know if you have any time on your hands.
Yeah, that's the thing. The time.
Yeah, yeah,
Time,
yeah.
time, time is very precious to me right now.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So the Valdo Fairweather, where did you get the motivation to actually do this stuff? Well, apart from the quote.
Oh, Where did I get the motivation?
Yeah, or inspiration, etc.
Um, my inspiration is my biggest inspiration was basically the mentors that I'm around. That's one of my biggest inspiration because I have a mentor who is a software engineer at WordPress, which is one of the top tech companies in the world. And when you're around, and I also had a mentor who was one of the top freelance developers in Jamaica. So when you're around people like that in your circle, you basically you're inspired to do great things because I'm always trying to impress these guys and basically reaching up to their level and saying, hey, do you think this project is a good project, and where do you think I'm heading in the future and stuff like that. So I'm basically always trying to match in with my circle, the persons that I know that are doing well and that mentor me, and this inspires me to do great projects. And what inspires me as well is you realize that some of the projects that I did relate to like music, for example. So it is most of the time it is what my frame of mind is in that basically inspires the projects. For example, the virtual DJ thing. I was just there listening music one day, and I said, what if I could just create something that could basically mix this music? So it's basically what is going on through my mind at that point that allows me to create these different projects. Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah. Speaking of music, we all know that you're also a musician and stuff. So I don't know if you could probably do something for us before the meeting ends. I don't know.
Oh boy.
Well, the man is asking, so how long did it take you to make the game for ethics?
How long did it take? It
Yes,
took probably around 3 weeks.
around 3 weeks.
Probably 3 weeks max.
All right, so I guess that will be all the questions for today, guys, because
I'd just
some
like to
persons.
jump in and say that you guys can hear Gary tonight at karaoke, okay?
Yes, yes, indeed, indeed. So guys, come over to the karaoke tonight, guys, to hear the great Roberts. All right, so Orin, do you have any announcements you want to make or anything else before the meeting ends?
So apart from our karaoke being tonight at 7, just want you guys to know that Chips, we've now released our apparel that you can see that I have on right here. But guys, don't get jealous or upset with me now. This one is custom. But don't worry, I'll be sending a link in the chat very soon where you guys can basically order your very own apparel. We also have our face mask here. I don't know. Got to stay safe out there and also be repping the department. So don't worry, we have much more designs that are there. So you guys can just check them out. All right, and the link is also in the Discord server. So if it's not right here for you guys to get it right now, everything is on the Discord server, CIS and chips related. All right, guys, and just want to thank Gary for
Hold on,
taking.
Orin. Natalia will be doing the vote of thanks. So I don't want to. Yeah. So
Okay.
before Natalia do the vote of thanks, Mr. Smith asked Gary what platform you use for the game.
Oh, what platform?
Yes.
I used a platform called 3D Rad at that time. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So
okay, guys.
uses a language. They have a framework inside it. That basically is it's like C language based that they use to do the interaction with the actual objects inside the game. But majority of it is basically you basically just have stuff built in. When you want to apply coding though to do like stuff extended stuff, you can use like a C language. You use like C language to code it inside the game.
Okay. So with that said, Natalia, could you do the vote of thanks?
Can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can. Yes.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of our department and Chips chips, I would like to say thank you, Mr. Gary Roberts, for all of the efforts that you have put into this wonderful presentation. We're grateful for all the information shared about unlocking our potential, and not to mention giving us some insight into what is needed to get into the industry. I am sure that every one of us has learned something new today, and that we all will take something with us today that will greatly benefit us in the future. I would like to give special thanks to Adrian West, our VP of Academics, for hosting this wonderful session. Finally, I would like to thank all of our attendants. Without you, our Tech Talks would not exist. Thank you for taking the time to invest in yourselves as the future of technology. Mr. Roberts, we wish you all the best in your career, and we hope that you continue to be a role model to our CIS family and others. To show our gratitude and appreciation, we are presenting to you a $25 Amazon gift card. Please enjoy and Godspeed, Gary. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Okay. All right. So I guess that's it for today's TikTok. If you guys want to rewatch the TikTok, it will be on our YouTube page. And Gary, you will send me the PowerPoint so I can share with others.
Yeah, I
Yes.
can do that.
So guys, just head over to our YouTube channel, guys. Please, and subscribe. Right? Subscribe and like our videos.
Yep.
Right? Share, because we want to build our YouTube channel, guys. So just go head over there right now, and like and share. Right? So this is TikTok, and unfortunately, will be the last one for the year. And I must say, we end it with a bang. So guys, coming January, TikTok will resume, and we will have more great speakers for you guys. So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you at our karaoke event tonight, guys. So peace.
All right.
All right, so I placed the links for the Chips Apparel in the Discord. I mean, in the chat right here, if you want to check out our apparel to see what's in store, and as well as a link to join the server for our karaoke tonight and many other things that we offer on the Discord server. All right, guys, stay saucy.